Triangle congruency. Let's start with side, side, side. It states if three sides of a triangle are congruent to three sides of another triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. It's one of the ways to find if two triangles are congruent. Another way is the side angle side, which states that if two sides and the included angle of a triangle are congruent to two sides and the included angle of another triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. Next one would be angle, side, angle. It states if two angles in the included side of a triangle are congruent to two angles in the included side of another triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. And lastly, the angle side postulate. If two angles in the non-included side of a triangle are congruent to two angles in the non-included side of another triangle, then the two. Alright, here we're going to look at the side, side, side. I drew two triangles, or two sets of triangles, blue and green. Let's look at this one. To have side, 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 we have to have two sides congruent, two other sides congruent, and finally the third side congruent. And if we can have all three sides congruent, we can have triangle A and triangle B congruent to each other. Let me find my green marker. And voila. Alright, so again we need three sides congruent to have this side, side, side. So we can automatically, let's say we have this side and this side congruent. We know this is an isosceles triangle, so that segment in the middle is not only the median, so it splits those into two, but we can also have that reflexive of itself, so that middle segment is congruent to itself. Triangles AB will be congruent to each other. And this is how you get triangles congruent with side with side. Here, we're going to be looking at side, angle, side. This states we need an included angle. That means the two sides we have congruent, the angle has to be between them. So if we have this side and this side congruent, this side and this side congruent, the angle between them has to be here. And once we have this, we can have our triangles A and B congruent. And we're going to be looking for the same thing over in my green triangle. I'm knowing automatically that that is congruent to itself. Let's pick another side. I'll pick this side. The included angle has to be right there between them. I went ahead and made it just 90 degrees. I'm going to label it triangle A and triangle B. The two triangles are congruent. Alright, the next one, we're going to be looking at angle, side, angle. We need two angles and an included side, so the side between the two angles. So for instance, if as soon as I start drawing an angle, there we are, there's one angle here and one angle here. And we'll make the angles congruent to the triangles here. That means that side right here has to be congruent in order to get AB congruent by side, angle, side. Or, excuse me, angle, side, angle. I was looking at the green one. Automatically, reflexive property. That is congruent to itself. I'll make 90-degree angles here. In order to have angle, side, angle, now these two angles have to be congruent. And then once I have that, A and B are congruent by your angle, side, angle postulate. Moving on. Alright, and our last set. We need angle, angle, side, which means that side is no longer included between the two angles. So what happens is if I start drawing an angle, let's say here, an angle here, my other angle up top, then the side cannot be the top one. It has to be this side or this side, not that one. So it could be here. I'll draw it there. And now I have the A and B are congruent by my angle side postulate. Looking at this one, reflexive property. That one's always congruent. Now if I just pick this angle here, making a 90-degree angle, because all 90-degree angles are congruent, I can't have it up there. I have to have it down here. And that'll give me my A and B congruent by my angle side postulate.